another part of the journey that is not talked about, and I want to talk about it. Everyone's so interested about the surgery and how that goes and everything, but to be honest with you, recovery is the longest part and the longest part of the journey, and I've gone through 25 other surgeries for these 2 spinal surgeries. None of the recoveries have been anything like this one, and obviously the complexity of the surgery is unlike anything I've had before either. Hey guys, my name's Michaela and you're watching FunsizedStyle. This video is not one that I have particularly wanted to film or have looked forward to sharing. I really debated filming this video because I don't want the video to come off as complaining. I want to be as transparent as I possibly can be throughout this journey. The past year, you guys have seen it all. We haven't seen it all, but you've heard me describe it all, from the lowest of lows to the greatest joys. I mentioned this in my Halo Traction recap video, but in my original, like the video that I uploaded the day before I went into Halo Traction, I remember I said that I can't wait to be on the other side of this and just be like getting on with my life, living my best life and doing all the things that I wanted to do. And I never imagined that a year later it would look so much different than that, and that would not be my reality. Every day is a gift, and you guys know how I feel about that, but my point in saying that I'm not, quote, living my best life at the moment, meaning like feeling my best, doing my best, and doing all these extraordinary things. The past few months have been very difficult. Last official video in my spinal fusion experience series went up really late. Like, I think you guys are only seeing this video like a month apart, maybe, if that, and this is filmed many months later. Last video in my spinal fusion experience series was from many months before this month. Because of school and just other things in my life that have been going on, that series kind of got pushed behind, and I delayed finishing it more than I wanted to. But anyways, and those videos just take a really long time to edit. It really killed me to upload the last spinal fusion experience video because I shared at the time that for the most part I'm doing well. I did share a couple of concerns that I have or had at the time, but overall things were well and good, but that's not the case anymore. Things have gotten a lot worse. I just never pictured this recovery to look like this. I pictured it to be a lot different, and it hasn't been, and I'm really struggling, and I wanted to share this with you and kind of what's been going on, because I promised to share with you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and bring you through this journey. Absolute number one, I want you guys to know that this is not me complaining. This is me just simply sharing my reality at the moment, and I do not take for granted the absolute miraculous outcome of my spinal fusion surgeries, and I recognize that, and I recognize the privilege and the blessing that I have, considering how medically I was expected to come out of this. This is not me downgrading that miracle and saying like this whole thing sucks, because it doesn't, and I'm still so grateful for every part of this journey, even though this bump that I have right now in the road of this journey, even though it's a really big bump, I know that I will look back at this time and at this video probably and realize how far I've come, that I did get through it, that I will get through it. I feel like this video is not going to be incredibly uplifting, and I just want to be real with you guys and know that I recognize the immense privilege and blessing that I have of this miraculous outcome. I have functioning lungs. I have lungs that are breathing on their own and carrying me through every day. I am not paralyzed, and those are the 2 biggest blessings that I could ever ask for. So in the grand scheme of things, these things that I am going to share today are small things in comparison to our expected worst case scenario given my circumstances at the time going into the spinal fusion. But I also want to normalize sharing these difficult times, because I think as a society we think if it's not worst case scenario that it's not hard, or that we're not entitled to it feeling hard. What I've been going through the past couple of months has been and is really, really hard. I wanted to share that, kind of what that's been like for me, all that I've gone through the past months with this recovery. I'm still very much struggling with spinal fusion recovery, but in a very unique way, and I'll get into what I mean by that in a minute. But as I mentioned earlier and in the previous video, for the most part I am doing well. However, starting in late April, I started having, like, as you guys know, I've been in pain like almost every single day since like my spinal fusion surgery, but like in March is when like I got I guess relief period where like the pain like completely much went away, and then late April is I started noticing something with the hardware. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I didn't think much of it, and then it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and I just felt like something was off, and so I went and I got x-rays. Everything showed that the hardware was fine. They couldn't find anything wrong. So at the time, I was still incredibly early in my recovery, 4.5 months post-op. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, probably just not like a relapse, but like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I thought it was just kind of like one of those periods, and so I didn't think much of it, and then I should be getting better, not worse. One of the days it was really bad, and so I went and I contacted my team, and I was like, I'm thinking about going to the emergency room. I don't know what's going on. Something has to be wrong. I'm just in so much pain with this one screw that I'm having pain with. I'm not having like muscular pain or bone pain. That's been completely healed since March. I guess I should have explained that from the beginning, but it's one specific screw. I'll insert a picture of the screw that I can so vividly feel and obviously feel moving. So I'll insert a picture. So it's this one screw, and I was like, I really think it's coming out. Like, I need to get this checked. They obviously wanted me to avoid the ED as much as possible, and so they were able to squeeze me in for a stat CT scan, and so I went and they didn't find anything. It's not their fault. My situation is so complicated. I was like, you know what? Like, I need like a mental break, because it was driving me nuts at this point, trying to figure this out, because you know that feeling like when you know something is wrong and nobody can find it, and it's just nothing more mentally exhausting than that. It is the most mentally taxing thing ever. Every day I can feel this one screw. When I twist or turn or do things, I can feel this one screw, and as you can see from the photo, they are incredibly sharp. What's really interesting about these images that I've gotten, obviously they're still images, and the positions that they have me in for these x-rays are not necessarily when I'm experiencing the pain or experiencing the hardware moving. Because these images are not capturing those moments in those positions, I feel like x-rays and scans are not necessarily our answer on trying to find this. As you can imagine, these screws are, and as you can see, these screws are very, very sharp. I have been in pain every single day since then, since these months, and what's interesting to me is I think it would be different in my mind if it was more of a plateau. It got to this point where, okay, this is the kind of pain that I'm experiencing every day, but like staying the same. As the months have continued to go by, it gets worse every single day. I think it's interesting for people to know that I'm in pain every day, because I'm not sitting here sobbing. And pain is interesting because everyone has a different tolerance. Mine is very high. My pain is not something that I like talking to people about. I don't go up to people and be like, I'm in pain today. Not that nobody cares. People probably do care, but it's just not something that I want to be a topic of conversation. And so, like I said, this is not your typical pain. Like, it's very specific. It's very specific location. It's a very specific source. My bones and my muscles are 100% fine. Like, nothing is broken. Like, nothing in my back is broken. I didn't pull a muscle. Like, my muscles feel fine. I know this is hardware. And nothing and nobody can convince me otherwise, because that's just how in tune I am with my body and just things that I've gone through in the past. Whenever I say that something is wrong, like no matter how long it takes to find it, I literally always end up being right. And so that's why, discouraged as I am, I know that in some way or in some capacity that this will be revealed to us somehow, some way. I'm just trying to be patient in the process and in God's timing, but at the same time I am running very thin on patience because it has gone on for so long, a year pretty much. I got like a 3 or 4 week relief window, and ever since then it has gotten worse every single day. And that's what's interesting too, is because it's like, okay, like today is like manageable, and then I like brace myself because I know to treasure every day, because I know that the next day is going to be worse than the next, like, than today kind of thing. My pain is like a very high tolerance because it's so specified and I know where it's coming from. Thankfully, it's not, like, I can't feel the pain, like, constantly. Like, me just sitting here right at this moment, I'm okay. But the minute I, like, move, I can feel the screw inside of my body. And I cannot feel any of the other screws moving. I have 16 or 20 of them. I have a lot of them. And I can't feel any of the other ones. And I don't have pain anywhere else in my back except for this one area where the screw is. That's how I know where it's coming from. It's interesting because I did this surgery because I wanted to better myself in the long run. Give myself a longer life, breathe better, do better, just all the things. But I'm 100% worse physically than I was a year ago. Before I started this whole process, and before my surgery, I never experienced back pain in my life, which is mind-blowing to people because my scoliosis was worse than ever. Obviously, it's still really, really bad, but it is somewhat improved, and now I am in pain every day. And so it's really, really weird for me because I've never been part of the, I guess, quote, like, chronic pain community. And I say that in quotations because it's like, never in my life have I dealt with any chronic pain. Like, I have only ever been in pain from a fracture or like a surgery, and then I heal, and then I experience no pain. People who have osteogenesis imperfecta, who are on bisphosphonate therapy, they often experience like bone pain, muscle pain. They experience that like on bisphosphonate therapy a lot of the time. I've never had any of that. I've never been on bisphosphonate therapy, so as soon as the fracture heals or I'm recovered from a surgery, I am immediately pain-free, never have pain kind of thing. I will look at people who have chronic pain and I'm like, how do you do it every day? And now I am one of those people, and now I'm like a part of this, and it's just, I never imagined myself to live in pain every day. I guess I'm coping. I'm still doing what I need to do for the most part. Some days it's worse than others, and it's just bummy because I know the exact source and I know where it's coming from, but they just can't seem to find it. I have no idea when this is going up from when this is being filmed. My most recent appointment was October 28th. It's like the pain that I am feeling and the movement that I'm feeling. I barely went into this appointment with any fear that they may find it this time because I was so convinced that this would finally be it after many, many months, just because there's no way that it's fine. Like, there's no, like, I don't care what it takes. Like, I just want them to fix, like, I want them to be able to find something to physically fix it. Because of how bad things have gotten, I was so like, this was finally gonna be the day. Once again, I sit in that dang x-ray chair that I've sat in so many times. I got the x-rays again. I've been radiated how many times? An x-ray or CT in January, February. Well, January I had 2 CT scans, 1 MRI. That was immediately after my surgery. I had x-rays in February. I had a CT scan. I had x-rays in April as well. And then I think I may have gotten one more in May, at like end of May. And then scan in June. And now another set of x-rays in October. I know this amount of radiation is not good, but like, we literally don't have any other choice. I basically went into this appointment very confident just because of what I'm feeling in my body. Like, I was so convinced. There's no way it could possibly show everything is fine. There's no way, like, no possible way, just because of how bad things have gotten. I'm like, there's no way. Lo and behold, they come in, they can't find anything. And I think they could see the drastic change in my face of just disappointment and brokenness, because there's no worse feeling in the world when you know something is wrong with your body and nobody knows how to help you and nobody can find what you're describing. I was just kind of silent for a second just because I couldn't believe what they were saying. It's just been a long road and I want them to be able to physically find something to fix, and it just hasn't happened yet. It's very exhausting mentally. I just want this journey to be wrapped up, and I want things to be better for me, and I want to be living my best life again. And I would be lying to you if I said that I haven't had thoughts of wishing that I never went through with it, just because of how mentally frustrating this has been the past several months, nearly this entire year, because I got a 4-week relief of pain. And then I started feeling this one screw inside of my body, and it's gotten worse and worse. I've been in pain every single day and feel a sharp object moving around inside of your body for nearly a year is maddening. When I went into this appointment in October, I never wanted a screw to be sticking out of my back so bad in my life. I never wanted something to show up on X-ray so bad in my life, and most people aren't hoping for, quote, bad news. But when you've been going through something and no one can seem to, there's nothing more that you want than to find the cause of whatever is going on. My surgeon tried to physically feel for loose hardware. She went up and down my spine, like my whole spine, like where I'm fused T1 through L5. As soon as she got to where I can feel the screw, I involuntarily yelled out a bit. Once I involuntarily yelled, once she got to that one spot and I involuntarily yelled, quickly referenced the x-ray to see like, okay, like this is where Michaela's having pain. She brought the one from May and then the one from like that day, so they compared May to October, and they gave me like copies of these, and so I have them, and I went back through my images and I saw something that like I just can't unsee. So like I have a copy of my x-rays either from, I can't remember if they're from January or February, and then like October's. I can't unsee this difference, and I swear that top screw is loose. I'll insert a picture here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. To me it looks like it's out, but I don't know. They compared May to October, and I compared January to October, so let me know what you think. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, if it weren't for this one screw, like I would literally be in zero pain, like no pain whatsoever. I would be completely pain-free. Like that's how well I'm doing otherwise, and I never imagined that one piece of hardware could cause so much pain. Literally every time I end up being right when it comes to my body. That's not me saying that I'm right in everything in the world. That's just me saying I know my body. I don't know everything, but I know everything about my body. A lot of you are probably wondering like what's next. So they, like I said, they do hear me, they see me, and what I love about my team, I know I've heard of so many people saying that like when they deal with chronic pain, like a lot of times doctors won't treat them like it's psychiatric. In some cases maybe, but I would say 98% of the time or more it is not. And so I'm so grateful that they don't tell me it's all in my head. Because every time over the past however many years, whatever the problem is, like I always ended up being right, and so they are so on board with me knowing my body, and that is the best thing that I could ever ask for. A team that doesn't give up on me, because I can't imagine going through this and having your medical team thinking that you're crazy. And so I'm so grateful that I don't have that. I'm just a team that like genuinely supports me. So I have another appointment in November 17th. I don't know when you're seeing this video from when this is being filmed, but 3 weeks after from when I had that October appointment. Just this one is just a video visit. Okay. And so at the appointment we did discuss, they think I may need a new wheelchair. My wheelchair is getting pretty old. This one is about 6 years old, and some new like seating arrangement would be great. We're gonna look into that. Also want me to look into, I've never heard of this before, the script, they wrote it as gentle back pain relief modalities. When they brought this option up, I was like, what the heck are modalities? Because of my OI, I can't do like everything. Like obviously they wrote like very specific ones. I had to go to like a physical therapist who does massage therapy, like a TENS unit, and some other things just to try to see if that helps me. But the thing is I live in a really small area, and where my team is like a bigger area, and like obviously they know OI down there and all of that stuff. But up here where I live in a smaller area, and I've looked up, like, they don't want me to go to, like, some sketchy massage therapy place. Like, I have to go to a physical therapy place. They're more apt to have some knowledge of hypnosis and OI and all of the things. I live in a really small area, and so I've looked up, and, like, there's no place around here that does these pain relief modalities. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to have to travel almost 2 hours each way to have this done. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if insurance covers this. I'll have to ask, because it's technically not physical therapy. They don't want me doing PT, so it's massage therapy and just all these different things. So, I don't know. I've never had. Sounds really nice. I'm kind of excited about it, if I can do it. So we'll see. So many people can say that their doctor told them to go get a massage. All about it. So, that was a little bit exciting. I don't think it'll help me with the issue that I have going on since it's hardware related, but I mean, if you're gonna order me to get a massage, like, I will go. Like, be my guest. I've never had one before, but it sounds good. So, I'm excited about that. November 17th or 18th, I have another video visit, like I said, where we will kind of check back in and how I'm doing, because obviously, like, I'm not getting better, and kind of reevaluate where to go from here. And I'll have to talk to her about not being able to find a place for massage therapy and just all these different things. One thing that I have, she hasn't brought it up as an option, but neither have I wanted some time to think about it, is either an MRI, which I really don't think that they're gonna be too thrilled about, again, just because I've been radiated so much, but, like, what the heck do we have to lose at this point, you know what I mean? Exploratory surgery. I've never had exploratory surgery in my life. Exploratory spinal surgery would be our absolute last resort, because for me, spinal surgery is, like, the most riskiest thing I could put myself through. I'm to that point of desperation. Like, whenever you're making a medical decision, you have to weigh risk versus benefit, and, like, what are my outcomes of not doing this? What are my outcomes of, you know what? That's how you have to kind of weigh, and right now, my benefits, like, far outweigh the risks because of the current situation that I'm in. And when you are medically desperate, you're willing to put yourself through this. I may bring up exploratory surgery. I haven't decided yet. A few of you guys have suggested that, which I thought was funny, because I was thinking that too. But I thought, no, I must be the only one thinking that. I don't even know if they do spinal exploratory surgery, so if you have had that, let me know in the comments if they found anything. I wanted to clear up a few things, some things that people may wonder that if I have. A few people suggested nerve pain. I don't think that's it, because not, like, that kind of pain, and I don't have, like, anything that, like, radiates. Like, it doesn't radiate down my leg, it doesn't radiate down my arm, and I feel the screw move. Like, it's a sharp pain. And a few of you asked, like, could the screw be, like, that's because the pain is only coming from that one screw, could that one screw be hitting a nerve? And I'm not going to say that's not possible, but I feel like if it was, something would show up on the x-ray, like, it would show that it's more loose, but maybe not necessarily, which is why I want to bring up potentially doing exploratory surgery. Another thing that people brought up is that they just take out the one screw, and that was, like, one of my very first questions back in June. The answer to that is no, because my curve is so severe. It would have to be all or nothing, because each screw is, like, kind of holding each other up, like holding my spine together and holding me up, basically, keeping me as straight as I can be, and so they can't do their job without each other. That's not an option either. You can tell these are not great circumstances that we're in, or that I'm in, and my plate is full, my mind is full, and it is just maddening, and it's nobody's fault. Like, I'm not upset. Everything medically is so complicated for me to find. It always takes so many steps, and some of these options that I'm considering, I miss my old life. I miss the way things used to be. My old life of not being in pain. I miss being pain-free all the time. I miss being able to do the things that I used to do and be going out and doing things. I miss my old life and my old circumstances right now, because that's how difficult things are, and I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that, because things are just that hard right now. And I feel so much guilt for saying these things, because a year ago this was everything that I ever prayed for. Here I received this miracle, and now things are so hard, and I'm like, I just don't know. But I know that God is good, and that He will carry me through this, whatever ending, whatever outcome this is going to have, for better or for worse. I don't know, but I know that He is good and He is for me and never against me, but this has been a trial and a test like no other. But I refuse to let my faith be shaken, even in the most difficult time of my life. I'm begging God for signs, for answers, and to help us with this. And He has yet to answer. But I know somehow, some way He will. And it's His timing. And it wasn't that long ago that I shared that recovery video, even though it was from a while ago. I just wanted to share what's been happening the past many months now. And I never imagined my circumstances to look like this nearly a year later. It's just been a long road. I've been through a lot, and I've been through the unthinkable. Right now I feel like I am simply getting by each day, and I'm not truly living and experiencing life to the fullest. And that's not me. Like, I want to be living and experiencing life to the fullest. And that's not happening for me right now because of these extreme circumstances. And so, if you could all lift me in prayer, lift my team in prayer, that we will find the source of this horrible pain and this never-ending pain, this never-ending nightmare that I have been walking through, rolling through, whatever, the past many months. That's it for this video. Those are some potential next steps and options that I've thought about, and we'll sure keep you updated on this process. It's been a long year. I just wanted to share with you that I'm still very much struggling and never imagined the recovery to look like this, but I'm doing the best that I can in these horrible circumstances. I'm just praying for better days ahead. I'm still so grateful overall for this outcome, and life is worth fighting for. There's my health update for you guys, and just how I'm struggling. It takes a lot of vulnerability to come on here and say that you're struggling. I want to be as real and transparent with you as possible. Thank you guys for being with me on this journey through the biggest joys and the lowest of lows and the difficult times. You guys are the biggest blessing, and community is the greatest blessing, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, and thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you in these really vulnerable times. So I will see you guys in my next video with hopefully much better circumstances. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.